Okay, another basic building block of code. Now this time it's the full stop. It's not just important in English, this is really important in coding. We're going to see it everywhere. What I'd like you to imagine is planet Earth floating there in space, and on planet Earth, we are part of it, we are on the United Kingdom. The United Kingdom is part of planet Earth. We're up there somewhere. And with part of the United Kingdom, we are in England. So there's the Earth, then in the Earth, or on it, is the United Kingdom, and in the United Kingdom is England, and then in England is Aylesbury Vale, and inside Aylesbury Vale is Aylesbury itself. So different things are in different other things. That's fairly obvious, yeah? We could also write that in another way if we wanted. What we could do is we could say the world, and then in the world is the United Kingdom, and in the United Kingdom is England, and in England is Aylesbury Vale, and then in Aylesbury Vale is Aylesbury. We could write it that way, and in fact I could even take those ins, and for no particular reason, because there's certainly no grammar involved in this, but I'm just going to take those dots and make them larger. In fact, we have them in between, and let's just take away those annoying ins for just a moment. So where go the ins? And we're flowing a chain here saying the world, in the world is the UK, in the UK is England, in England is Aylesbury Vale, and in Aylesbury Vale is Aylesbury itself. So we're starting to flow a chain. This is starting to look familiar to a kind of writing you may have seen somewhere before. Maybe? Well, let's have a look. What about the World Wide Web? When we think about the World Wide Web, what are we actually thinking of there? Well, the World Wide Web is a network of interconnected computers spanning the whole planet Earth. So there's our whole World Wide Web. And that picture actually reminds me, for some reason, of the BBC. I think it was one of their logos a long time ago. Well, let's look at the BBC and how we would write the BBC. Well, the BBC has a web page. Well, when we look at it, we've got types of web pages which work by World Wide Web, and that's why we start with www. There are other types instead, and that itself, well, that's in the organisation BBC. That organisation itself, well, it's within a country, and that country in itself is the one in the United Kingdom. It's in the United Kingdom. So what we've got here is we've got different parts of systems in other systems, in other systems, in other systems. And we designate the difference between them, again, by using a dot. So it's kind of handy in that respect. So the pages are in the BBC is in the country, and that country is the UK. And we can do other things as well with that. We could look at something like Java. Well, if we look at importing libraries, such as the Java library AWT. So how's that working? Well, if you remember, if you've done this, if not, you will. It's part of the green foot in the Java, is we're actually importing a library here, and that library is the color library. Color is part of AWT, and AWT is part of the Java itself. I'll show you the web page that describes that. So here we're describing the AWT package, and it's saying, well, the AWT package is part of Java, and within that we have different classes as the interfaces, and here's our class summary. These are all classes that are contained within that AWT package, and oh look, down here is the color one, and I can even look inside the color again, and I can see that apart from anything else, it's an object inside the language of Java. You see it's going in there, and it gives me the different descriptors of the different things I can do with color. So if we look at it here, I'm saying use the color class from the AWT library from the Java language. Yep. All got the idea of that? So we can use it in Java with this dot says within something. And it's not just calling the libraries, by the way, you will get it in other areas within the code itself, not just the imports. We could look at using JavaScript, so writing web pages. And with JavaScript itself, we'd be looking at, well, this is a piece of code I've taken from W Free Schools. It's just a bit of JavaScript, and if we look at this, what we've got in this script here, there's the body down there. There we go. Nice bit of code. The rest of that's not that important. But so look at this. We're part of the document. That's part of the web page we're in. And within there, we're getting one of the elements that has the ID demo. And within that element, we want to look at its inner HTML. You know, the part of it that's within. If we actually look, we can see it here. This is our element here. It's a paragraph. And the inner HTML is talking about the bit between the two chevrons, which is currently blank, so we're getting a nothing, but then we're changing it to something else. So the inner HTML is inside the ID called demo, and that ID called demo is within the document. So it works in JavaScript. We can look at other things as well. We could look at VisualBasic.net, VB. I've just done a little bit of a screen here. So here I've got a form. Remember, forms, when you refer to them from within themselves, you can call them me, rather than saying form1 dot. So in Visual Basic, I've got here a piece of text inside that form. So I'm programming from the form side of it, and here I'm saying, okay, me, which is a short way of saying form1, dot label 1, this is label 1 here, it's inside the form 1, dot text. The text is part of that label, it's within the label 1, equals hello world. So I could run a piece of code there where the dot means inside, always. So for our recap, effectively, whenever we're doing this, we're saying that a dot means something is inside something else. That's as simple as that. So for example, if we've got a person here, here's maybe our scientist from last week, so we got a person. And that person has an arm, which is part of the person. That arm has a hand, and that hand has a thumb. There we go. So the thumb is in the hand is in the arm is in the person, and you're using the dots that way. So a full stop is effectively the same as saying it is in another object. And you will always see it in reference to describing when one property, so it can refer to properties, or it could be a library, it could be a class, it could be an object that is in something else. Yeah, so you get the idea? Is the full stop means it's part of something else. Don't please confuse, therefore, the full stop with a comma. So whenever you're seeing a reference to maybe a function that's within a library or an object that's within a class or something like that, it is always the full stop. Okay, away you go.